While the conditions are still feasible for us to hold a winter event, we head to the Sludge Bowl's Winter Stadium for the 11th event of the Team Quadrilla Marble League. It's curling. We saw this event in Season 1, hosted by the Aquamarines. It was won by the Shadow Riders, the Golden Cheeses, and the Floundering Fish, filling out the rest of the podium. This event requiring precision among the teams rather than speed, as after event 10 it is a three-way battle at the top of the standings, Slime Balls, Deep Divers, and the Poison Ivy, just 1 point separating them. And it's the Green Lotus and the aforementioned Shadow Riders in 5th place, but the Slime Balls and the Olive Orbs will be getting us started with a bit of a different order from the Slime Balls, subbing in Viscous for Uzi. So the marbles, they'll be coming in one by one like this, and you're trying to get as close to the center as possible, but all the marbles that placed on the board will be scored. So that blue ring on the outside is worth 1 point, white ring is worth 2, red is worth 3, and the middle white button is worth 5 points. As the third marble for Olive Orbs comes out now, and it's going to be no scoring finishes for the Olive Orbs. Their final marble, they shove the Slime Balls off the ring, and the Olive Orbs, the anchor marble with olive wood, managed to get in the 1 point ring. The Slime Balls do not get any score, so the Olive Orbs, an upset victory against the home team. That means the championship leaders are out, allows the other two teams in the championship hunt to make a comeback here. Deep Divers and the Floundering Fish as Seabed rolls out now and slots in to the 3 point ring. Deep Divers, despite being the defending champions, got lost in this event last season. Koi Boy, the Floundering Fish captain, got third in this event last season, trying to beat the Deep Divers again. But the Deep Divers are positioning themselves well. Their captain continues to find themselves closer and closer to the center. A bit of a mistake there, though, as that decreases their score by a couple points. The Floundering Fish struggling to score for themselves. Have to see what they can do. Shipwreck from the Deep Divers, their final marble. Doesn't do much, but what does Angelfish do? They only push the Deep Divers further into the ring, and the Deep Divers will beat the Floundering Fish pretty convincingly 2-0. With 2 marbles in the 1 point ring, as opposed to Floundering Fish just didn't find the house at all. I don't think they have at any point any points in the curling match, and so they will not be repeating their performance from season 1. Now it's time for the Poison Ivy and the Sinister Sprinters. With the Deep Divers advancing, the Poison Ivy also have the pressure to advance here, so otherwise the Deep Divers will be stretching it ahead of them. They do have 4 points right now on the board, 1 in the 3, 1 in the 1, and the Sinister Sprinters dispatches of their captain in the 1 point ring, but still, advantage to the Poison Ivy. They have 2 in the 3, that's 6 points for the Poison Ivy. Oh, good one there from Hydra of the Sinister Sprinters. Elixir, the last marble of the Poison Ivy, goes to the right, but what can the Sinister Sprinters do? They push the Sinister Sprinters and the Poison Ivy closer to the center, so it'll be 3-3, but the Poison Ivy closer to the center, so the Poison Ivy will be moving on. Sinister Sprinters were very close, had 2 marbles scoring as opposed to Poison Ivy 1, but the Poison Ivy had the highest score from any individual marble that allows them to move on. Now, in a bit of a stacked heat in Heat 4, Green Lotus and the Golden Cheeses. Green Lotus got 4th in this event last season. Golden Cheeses got 2nd. Now, no one has scored, but now the second marble of the Green Lotus, Clover, that is, goes into the 3 point ring, but the good move there from Mozzarella of the Golden Cheeses. Green Lotus tries to shove them outside, and a good bounce back there after getting hit from Emmontal allows the Green Lotus to get the advantage. Now, what can their final marble do from the Golden Cheeses? Parmesan will slot into the 3 point ring, and that's going to be very close. 3-3, depends on who's closer to the button, and I think it's the Golden Cheeses just barely. Yes, it is the Golden Cheeses by the barest of margins. They beat the Green Lotus, and you can see a fierce matchup from both high-scoring teams in curling last season. Now, the defending gold medalists in curling, Shadow Riders against the Valley Dashers. In fact, these two teams faced each other in curling last season in the heats, the Shadow Riders only narrowly beat the Valley Dashers, they would go on to win the whole event. After 3 marbles, no one has found the house canyon of the Valley Dashers on the edge of the 2 and the 3. We would have a slow curl from Umbra, but that dispatches the Valley Dashers. And the Valley Dashers would also respond by dispatching the Shadow Riders. Now Gloom of the Shadow Riders positions themselves well in the 3-point ring, and the Valley Dashers go to the right, and it is absolutely not what you want to do as an anchor marble. So the Valley Dashers fail to make the house entirely. Shadow Riders, with 1 marble only, beats them 3-0. That is the most convincing match we have seen, and of course, as expected from the defending gold medalists in this event. Now it's time for the Efficient Eggs and the Yellow Lotus. Although these teams did curling in the B division last season, Efficient Eggs got dead last in it. They're hoping to turn that around this season. The Yellow Lotus have they had 1 point, but now it's gone to 3 with the help from the Efficient Eggs. A bit of a mistake there pushes them back to the 1-point ring. Now Hardboil from the Efficient Eggs also dispatches the Yellow Lotus, and it's 1-0 to the Efficient Eggs now. Yellow Lotus with the 3rd marble fails to score. Efficient Eggs don't do much with Fry. What can the Yellow Lotus do with Marigold? Oh, that is going to be a very good position marble. 3-1, and with just 1 marble, the Yellow Lotus has beaten the Efficient Eggs. The Efficient Eggs looked like they had more control in the entirety of the match, but they just couldn't get it to stick, and the Yellow Lotus had it when it mattered. So they will be moving on. Majestic Melons and the Blue Lotus now. These 2 teams have faced each other, I think, a couple of times in this season. Majestic Melons with Honeydew way off to the left. Meanwhile, Iris positions themselves well in the 3-point ring. Now, their 2nd marble from the Majestic Melons also fails to make the house. So does Bluebell, bouncing off the Melons. A good bounce there, though, from, that is, Winter Melon. And they get dispatched, though, and it is now 0-0. Their final marble, Majestic Melons, with their reserve, subbing in their reserve, scores there, but then they get dispatched too from Hydrangea, the anchor marble of the Blue Lotus. Anchor marble, it's so much about dispatching your opponents, and that is what the Blue Lotus did. That is what many of the marbles that have been the anchor marbles, good anchor marbles in these hurling matches have done, and the Blue Lotus, just 1-0, they will be moving on. Now, in the final heat, before we move on to the quarterfinals, Bauble Squad and Team Atlantic, 8th and 9th in the championship right now. Team Atlantic, of course, still their captain injured, so it's vice captain Sea Turtle leading the way. Failed to make the house. And the Bauble Squad, good curl there, avoiding their teammates to get close to the ring. I don't think they're in the ring though yet. Manatee from Team Atlantic on the edge of the 3-2 ring, but now Tinsel, the Bauble Squad, pushes them off, but Orca of Team Atlantic pushes them off. And now Orca from Team Atlantic is going to get a 1-0 victory. I think that Bauble Squad marble is not in the ring, so yes, it is 1-0. Great move there from the reserve of Team Atlantic. Reserve member having to do extra work, and they make the Bauble Squad go into 11th place. Green Lotus, with that narrow defeat with the Golden Cheeses, get the best of the rest. Valley Dashers get last place. But no time to waste as we go on to the quarterfinals. Olive Orbs and the Deep Divers. Olive Orbs are dead last in the standings. Deep Divers 2nd, and are the defending champions. It's 0-0 after the first 2 marbles, but Olive Grove, that is, positions themselves well. Get dispatched by Marine, but a good curl there, creative curl around Marine of the Deep Divers from Olive Oil to get into the 2-point ring. And the Deep Divers have won, but they get dispatched by the Olive Orbs. And this is looking good for the Olive Orbs, but they get pushed off by Shipwreck of the Deep Divers, so it's going to be 1-1. But I think the Olive Orbs are still going to advance based on the distance to the button. Their marble is slightly ahead, and it is the Olive Orbs with another upset victory. They dispatch the championship leader, they dispatch championship number 2, and the Olive Orbs are on pace to get another medal, their second perhaps of the season. And the Poison Ivy, can they be the only of the top 3 to advance to the semifinals? First marble not very promising, as the Golden Cheeses with Cheddar are now in the 3-point ring. A creative curl there, bouncing off the captain though from Venom, puts them in the 2-point ring, but Mozzarella shoves them off to the 1. Good positioning there. Good curl there from Cheddar also to get back in the ring. So the Poison Ivy now have 2 points, but so did the Golden Cheeses, so it's going to be very even actually. And now the Poison Ivy have 3. What can Parmesan do from the Golden Cheeses? They get 2 more points for them. So the Golden Cheeses end up with 4 points, 1, 2, and 2 1s. And only Potion of the Poison Ivy managed to score. So it's going to be 4-1. It was looking very close in the middle part of that match, but the Golden Cheese made a great move there from their Anchor Marble. Head to the Shadow Riders and the Yellow Lotus. Can the Shadow Riders advance to the semifinals, potentially get on their way to winning this event once again? Or will the Yellow Lotus pull an upset against them? Contour puts themselves in the 3-point ring, and the next marble, Dandelion from the Yellow Lotus, puts them in the 2. Umbra puts them in the 1, so it's 2-1 to the Yellow Lotus. But now the Yellow Lotus are 5-1. I think that is from the 3rd marble getting in the 3-point ring. Gloom makes them lose 2 points. Final Yellow Lotus marble though, not enough for the Shadow Riders to defend, and the Yellow Lotus will beat them 3-1. So the defending gold medalists are out in the quarterfinals. Yellow Lotus are moving on to the semifinals. Good momentum here after getting last in the last event in Moguls. Now, in the final quarterfinal before we go to the semis, Blue Lotus and Team Atlantic. Oh, that's going to be very much on the edge of the 3 and the 5 as they get dispatched by Sea Turtle. But now, a Bluebell that is, positions themselves well in the 5. Not so fast though, as Narwhal shoves them off. But Cornflower also comes back and curls back into the 5. So much offense from Team Atlantic, pushing the Blue Lotus, making sure they're going to be off the course. But after it's all said and done, it's going to be very close between them, with their final Blue Lotus marble being closer to the center than Team Atlantic. And despite all of their efforts, Team Atlantic was not able to push the Blue Lotus off. Actually, Blue Lotus are going to be 2-1. They were just barely in the 2-point ring, so Team Atlantic gets 6th place. Deep Divers, good 11 points. Poison Ivy, just 8. So the Deep Divers are going to be ahead of the Poison Ivy and ahead of the Slime Balls too in the championship. They will not get a medal though. That will go to one of, if not both, of the Olive Orbs and the Golden Cheeses in the first semi-final. Olive Orbs, good positioning there to get into the 3-point ring despite a hit from the Golden Cheeses, and they have now 5-0 are the Olive Orbs. Good hit there from the Golden Cheeses. It only gets rid of 1 point for the Olive Orbs, but the Olive Orbs completely mess it up for them, and they're down to 2. That's Emmontal pushing the Olive Orbs up, so it's now just 0-0. Olive Orbs with their final marble get 2 points. They salvaged a bit, but once again Parmesan with the anchor and the Golden Cheeses knock out the Olive Orbs, and the Olive Orbs potential second gold is now dashed. The Golden Cheeses though are going to the final just by a 1-0 score. That's all they needed to go to the final. Guarantee at least tying their best result in any event in their entire careers. Now in the second semi-final, Yellow Lotus and Blue Lotus. Rivalry classic between the Lotus teams. It is 1-1 after the first 2 marbles have gone. Yellow Lotus dispatched both of them though, and here is Bluebell from the Blue Lotus putting them in the 3-point ring. Now Yellow Lotus shoves them off, and it's now back to 0-0. Blue Lotus with Cornflower puts them in the 2-point ring. That's on the edge of the 2 and the 1. but the Yellow Lotus keep pushing them off. But now the Blue Lotus have curled back very well. Mistake there from the Blue Lotus puts the Yellow Lotus in a better position than them. And with that, the Yellow Lotus, 3-0, are going to be advancing. It was actually close up until that final marble, but the Blue Lotus Anchor Marble did not know what they were doing. Or at least, they did not execute it well at all. And that means the Blue Lotus are going to the third place match with the Olive Orbs. Bit of a slow curl there from Olive Tree, the captain of the Olive Orbs, but that works out well because they go into the 2-point ring and get dispatched by the Blue Lotus. Now, Olive Grove, that is, positioning them in the 3-point ring, but once again, Bluebell shoves them off and it's now back to 0-0. Olive Orbs are not giving up though, they want this bronze, as the Blue Lotus curl and bounce off the Olive Orbs to get in the 2-point ring. Now Olive Orbs with their Anchor Marble, they stumble, and the Blue Lotus have an easy path to the bronze medal, and the Blue Lotus easily get the win with their final marble. They did not need to do much. They did do actually something. They actually got 2 more points for the Blue Lotus, pushing their marble into 2 and getting into the 1 for Hydrangea. So the Blue Lotus, 3-0, get the bronze, and that's their second medal of this season. But on we go to the final. Golden Cheeses and the Yellow Lotus. These two teams have not gotten a gold despite their many achievements in the Team Quadrilla Marble League. One of them will do it in this event. And it looks like the Yellow Lotus have it right now, but they get shoved off by the Golden Cheeses. It's now 1-0. The Yellow Lotus are responding very well. It's now 1-0 to the Yellow Lotus. Now, Emmental, they want this. They push them off. It's now blank slate once again. But here comes Marigold of the Yellow Lotus, 1-0. What can the Anchor Marble do? Parmesan, the MVP of this event, as they get 1 point. And the Yellow Lotus cannot respond. And that means the Golden Cheeses, just 1-0, gets the win. Golden Cheeses, that is their first gold in the Team Quadrilla Marble League, 1-0. They step up from their silver, losing it to the Shadow Riders in curling in the last season. Here they are on the top step of the podium for the first time in all of the Team Quadrilla Marble League. The other 2 podium spots get filled up by Lotus teams, with the Yellow Lotus tying their best result of the entire season, and the Blue Lotus getting their second best result with a bronze. That is also their first team event medal since season 1. They're going to be happy with that. But the Golden Cheeses, their first gold ever, appropriately enough with their name, they will shoot up the standings down in 13th, go up to 8th place. But it is defending champions, Deep Divers on top, just 3 points down is the Poison Ivy, then 3 points down again is the home team Slimeballs. Green Lotus and Shadow Rider stay in 4th and 5th. That's the Yellow Lotus and the Blue Lotus and the aforementioned Golden Cheeses. Next event is going to be the sprint for both the A Division and the B Division.